Hi again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capital Talk, sponsored by Eric Sell. I'm Rick Kessler from RV Business. Sherman, who's normally with us, he's out on assignment. So it's just going to be me, and we're talking with Dave Craig. Dave, and I'm going to use my notes here so I get it right because you wear several hats. You are a general manager at Kenda Tire and specifically vice president of Americana Tire and Wheel, which we are all familiar with, of course, here in the RV industry. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Well, it's a pleasure. Those titles are reversed a little bit, but I don't think it matters at the end of the day, Rick, because you wear a lot of hats for the company and whatever needs done, you do, right?
Okay, yep. Apologize for that.
That's no problem. But thanks for having me today. It's great to talk with you and share a little bit about who and what we are.
Well, that's exactly one of the things I'm most excited about is to have you give us that overview, the update. What's the company been up to lately? Give us a nice, good snapshot of everything.
Yeah, Kenda, for those who may not know, right, the company was established back in 1962 in Taiwan, and we've grown to about a $1.4 billion global organization. Headquarters are still there. Our U.S. headquarters is in Reynoldsburg or Columbus, Ohio. It's really been a nice journey for the company, I would say. Continuous build upon, past histories and really getting into a lot of different segments and growth over time. Um, like I said, our U.S. headquarters is here in Columbus, Ohio, but really our global operations extend several continents, right? We're over in Asia with manufacturing, U.S., of course, and then in Europe have a very strong footprint. So it really gives us a lot of diversification and really broad customer supply in a lot of different categories and countries, and in reality, monetary side, dollars versus euros, etc. So it's a good balance.
Dave, what are some of those categories you mentioned?
Yeah, Kenda is a little bit involved in everything, round and black, right? So we're in passenger light truck market. So you might see us on your car or your SUV or light truck. Power sports is a very big component of our business. Side by side, four-wheelers, things of that nature. We dip into bicycle, which is really where the company was founded back in 1962, is one of the initiating products that got us kicked off as a company. Specialty, it really covers like lawn and garden, in this case, trailer tires, golf carts, and we dip into a little bit of wheelchair, actually. So very comprehensive. We have a couple other businesses on the side as well, which is our building products. And then we get into wheel manufacturing. So very diverse portfolio. A good chance if you walk out in your garage today, you could have Kenda on your car, your lawnmower, bicycle, and wheelbarrow, quite honestly.
Some of those brand names then that might be more familiar to us?
Yeah, on the Kenda side, I mean, we really try to promote Kenda, the company, the brand. So you're going to see that for the most part. But specifically on the trailer side, you're going to see Lodestar or
Yeah.
Carry a Lodestar. Those are our signature brands within the trailer industry.
And I'm sure everybody knows this, but you do have a location in Elkhart right there on County Road 6. That one is there to serve the RV industry, I assume?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of reasons, right? It's the heart of the RV industry, number one. Gets us in close proximity, of course, to our customers. We do feel we should have a physical presence, in the area with employment of about 150 people at our facilities there, as well as Dexstar Wheel. When you look at it, it's really integration. We want to be close and one-on-one with customers to the best of our ability, and that's one of the reasons why we're there.
And I know you mentioned the company itself was founded 62, I think you said.
Yes, correct.
But it wasn't that long afterwards that you started getting into the trailer tires.
Yeah, that's true. It's always been a product category, I think, for the company. And then as time has sort of went through, we really started to focus in on that as a key segment for us. Americana Tire and Wheel, I think, was established back in 1996. We originally started in York, Pennsylvania, and then moved and added another facility into Elkhart. We have a third facility down in Blackshear, Georgia, which serves that section of the country. We're located over in Marshfield, Missouri, and then also down in Lakeland, Florida. So a little bit of diversity and coverage, but a really strong footprint.
Very good. So let's focus in on the RV segment, the RV category. You mentioned Lodestar brand, of course. How do you guys support the RV industry with your tires?
Yeah, obviously we try to be, focus our attention goes back to somewhat of the history of the company, right? Honesty, innovation, quality, and customer service. Those four tenets really drive what we do. And, we try to work very closely on the OE level with several RV manufacturers. But the nice part about Kenda, I would say, is the diversity that we bring somewhat from R&D development all the way down to, consumer interaction, right? Our R&D facility is, very prominent and key for us in development of tires.
One of the and boy, I should have done my homework a little better, but I believe Trailer Tire Safety Week is coming up pretty shortly. How does that R&D play into that trailer tire safety?
Yeah, it's right there. I mean, we're just sort of coming out of it, I think, this week. But it's a consumer interaction, consumer education, right? That's big. A lot of people, buy trailers and park them, right? Drive them, use them once a year. We encourage more frequency, of course, for several reasons to keep the pliability of that tire, but also wear them out faster because we will make more. There's no doubt.
That's like the old Doritos commercial. Very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, since we brought the consumers into the discussion, what are some of your tips, your advice, or Kenda's tips and advice for consumers on their tire maintenance?
Yeah, I mean, one key piece is to really just, take a look at them, right? Every once in a while, visually inspect them. That's a big key. Keep them, clean because a lot of people do park them sometimes and utilize them only in certain situations, or they only go camping, once or twice a year with the family around key holidays. So sometimes they don't get the use that they should. So inspect them. Second of all, really is important, just like your passenger car tires and your daily drive. Check the air pressures. That is key, not only to performance, but the longevity of that tire as well. Right, you want to keep it properly inflated. And then the third thing I would say is really pay attention to load ratings, right? What your axle rated for? What should your trailer be carrying? That is another area that needs a lot of focus and attention. Sometimes consumers get overly anxious and load up where they maybe shouldn't. So just a conscious effort there, and between those three things, you should be in good shape for safety.
I know one of the I don't know the term to use this, but a lot of the YouTube celebrities, the YouTube RV people, some of them encourage the others to swap out their trailer tires for a light truck tire or something along those lines. I'm going to assume that you would not recommend that because the trailer tires are built differently for a reason.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Think of your passenger car as an example. What are you doing, driving to the grocery store? You're going straight, you're turning left, you're turning right. There's load on the, sidewall because of your turning radius. And trailer tires are more designed for straight line movement, right? The stiffer sidewall, the bead area is constructed a little bit different. So really, we do not recommend that at all. ST stands for specialty tire, right, for trailer applications, and you should really stick with that in all occasions.
Yeah, I can't, I've had a few blowouts over the years, and I can't imagine how many more I would have had if I was not
Right.
using the right tire.
Yeah, correct.
And blowouts, it's almost, I don't want to say it's the gorilla in the room, but that is a situation people never want to find themselves in. Um, is that typically due to either under or over inflation?
Um, it's usually, could be road hazard, right? You
Okay.
run over something on the highway and then not expecting that. But it gets back to proper air
Yeah.
pressure, right? So when you over inflated tire, you're running more on the center of the tire, which could wear out faster. And underinflated situations, because of overload or lower air pressure, you're putting a little bit more heat into that shoulder area, which you really, don't want to do. So it really comes back to proper inflation.
Yeah. Yeah. Always, and check it
Yeah,
before and after every trip. And while you're
absolutely.
at the campsite too, before you turn back around to go home. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure most families have a checklist, walking all the way through to get everything loaded. Take one extra step, pay attention to your ties.
Very good. All right, that takes care of the trailer tire safety week part of this episode. Back to your partnerships with the OEs. Um, Take us through how Kenda treats that partnership with these OEs.
Yeah, the markets can get complex a little bit, obviously, with the up and down of demand that we have seen really, I guess, post-COVID time periods, right? Things are a little bit choppy, consumer engagement, interest rates, purchases, things like that. So really, a big piece for us is to just make sure we maintain inventory, trying to smooth that out for our partners to the best of our ability. And we're constantly, from the product side, I mentioned earlier our test center in Akron, Ohio. We're there working on R&D. We're developing new products. We're evaluating compounds. We're looking at steel cords, benefits, pros and cons. And I think that allows us a little bit of some cross training with our engineers who work on the automotive front. There are some similarities there, of course, in a radial
Yeah.
tire. And that benefit allows us to really dial in, on our products on the trailer tires, plus develop things new for the future. What's coming down the pipeline? What demands are we seeing in conversations with RV manufacturers of things they may be wanting to look at, whether that's a heavier load or a different tread design, expectations of mileage, wet grip,
Yeah.
things of that nature, right?
So this would be the perfect opportunity to spill the beans on what your R&D is ready to come out with next for the RV people.
Well, some of that is still locked in the secret closet, of course. But, we do have several things in the pipeline. We brought a couple new products to market, and really, I think it really is tailored to some of the different segments in the towable trailer area, right? Usage. We're moving more into radials. Bias tires, if you
Okay.
might recall, was really a strong component. Um, in the trailer segment. You go back to the early 70s and passenger cars, how everything was a bias or fiberglass ply, then moved into radial. We see that pretty much equally mapping itself out, and it's a benefit. The radial tires actually, even though there's steel cords and steel body plies, it actually dissipates heat and it runs cooler, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So stay tuned, everybody.
And especially mileage, right? More and more people are driving their RV further from home
Yeah.
for that destination trip with the family, and it's good to be riding on radios.
Um, I want to ask you about business, and I know, we don't want to pry too much into the business aspect of things. No secret that the RV industry is in a bit of a soft market, let's say. I'm just curious if you're finding that with some of your other categories as well.
I think there's trends if you look back in time that follow one another, and I think that's happening today. Typically, a little bit of the marine trailer segment is a lag of the RV, so that's been part and parcel true here the last 2 to 3 years. And I think with the economic impact in the US, people diversify a little bit. They move around a little bit more entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe cargo trailers or enclosed are picking up with the offset of the other. So it's always a nice balance. We'd like them all to be, robust all at once.
Sure.
That'd cause a lot more, planning and chaos on our end, but that's something we'll take.
Do you, off the top of your head, and this is not a fair question, how much does the RV category represent as far as the overall business?
Rick, that's a great question, and probably one that I should know from a percentage standpoint, and I don't have that number with me today. I apologize for
Well,
that.
we could just make it up. Nobody will know.
Sure. We tried to watch the RVIA numbers
Sure.
very closely. They do a really good job in communications and webinars and getting news out. And I think road signs forecast is always, pretty decent. So we do try to stay very true and watch that very closely.
Very good. Well, Dave, I think I've run out of questions. Is there any other, here's the platform is yours. Any messages for the industry?
Yeah, I appreciate the time. Really, Kenda's been around for a long time. We're very focused on this segment and continue to grow. Our CapEx and what we spend in our factories every year, it's massive, right? Because we reinvest back into the tire segments that we feel are very, very important. And this segment in the RV area is key for us. What we bring to the table, we think not only from, the R&D to the manufacturing, because that's one piece that makes us uniquely different, Rick. We do the R&D, and then, our engineering team is, traveling overseas to our factories to make sure that spec is exactly like it was designed. And it's in our factory. Every Kenda tire that with the Kenda name on it is coming out of the Kenda factory. So we control that all the way through. And then the controlled distribution with our assembly operations for Americana Tire and Wheel. We partner with our sister company, Dexstar, as far as the steel wheel side. So when you look at a comprehensive unit on a trailer, it's been designed all the way through with
Very
Kenda.
good.
So,
Well, Dave, I want to thank you again for your time. Like I said, the R&D, I shared this with Dave before we turned on the record button, but I had the opportunity to go out to Akron and visit Kenda's, at the time, brand new
yeah.
technical center and R&D facility, and it is truly impressive. Anybody who's ever in the area, that's a good afternoon's visit, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. We are all about education. So, I'll extend an invite back so you can see how things changed since first time you were there.
I'll take you up on that, Ira. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And again,
certainly.
I want to thank Dave. We should also again thank RVBusiness, our sponsor. Dave, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Great talking with you today.